Imagine waking up, pouring yourself a nice cup of coffee, taking one glorious sip, and then realizing it tastes like pickle juice because your roommate thought it would be hilarious to prank you. Your brain goes into full meltdown mode. You want to scream, call the police, maybe even move to another country. But here is the thing. Life is basically just one endless pickle juice coffee after another. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus knew this 2,500 years ago when he dropped his mic or his amphora by saying, "No man ever steps in the same river twice." Translation: everything changes all the time, and if you try to hold on to the way things were, you will suffer harder than someone wearing wool socks in a sauna. Heraclitus was one of those deep thinkers who probably could not attend a single dinner party without accidentally blowing everyone's mind. His big claim to fame? The idea that change is not just something that happens, it is the fundamental nature of the universe. You do not just live with change, you are change. Think about it. The cells in your body are constantly regenerating. Your thoughts from yesterday might embarrass you today, and that cool indie band you loved in college, they just sold their music to advertise dog shampoo. Heraclitus would be like, "Yep, sounds about right." But here is the problem. Human beings are basically wired to resist change. Our brains are lazy. They want predictability, routine, and the comforting illusion that the future will look like the past with slightly better haircuts. That is why we get all weird when things shift, when our favorite restaurant changes the menu, when our friends start new relationships, when Netflix removes our favorite show halfway through a binge watch. We start mentally shaking our fists at the universe like cranky old philosophers. And according to Heraclitus, that resistance is exactly what makes us miserable. So why does resisting change hurt so much? Let us dive into the science for a second, because Heraclitus did not have access to MRI machines, but if he did, he would have been nodding like, "Yep, told you so." Neuroscientists have found that your brain has a little alarm system called the amygdala that freaks out whenever something unexpected happens. This is a survival mechanism left over from when change might have meant a saber-toothed tiger is now in your cave. These days, change is usually less life-threatening, more like your favorite cereal got discontinued, but your brain still reacts as if your very existence is under attack. And here is the kicker. The more you try to fight change, the more stress hormones your body releases. You go into full fight-or-flight mode over things you cannot control, like your company switching to a new email system or your partner deciding they want to rearrange the living room. That constant tension creates suffering, not because the change is inherently bad, but because you are paddling upstream in a river that does not care about your perfect sofa arrangement. Heraclitus's river metaphor is perfect, because rivers do not stop moving for anyone. You cannot yell at a river to hold still while you fix your hair. It is going to keep flowing, bringing in new water, washing away the old. That is life. New jobs, breakups, birthdays, pandemics, TikTok trends. Everything is the river. You are the person standing in it, trying not to lose your sandals. The moment you understand this, you can stop wasting your energy trying to dam the current and start learning to swim. Now, learning to swim in the river of change does not mean you just passively let everything happen while you sit on an inflatable flamingo. It is about adapting. Think of it like surfing. You do not control the wave, but you can learn to ride it without getting face-planted into the sand. That is where acceptance comes in. Acceptance is not the same as giving up. It is acknowledging reality as it is so you can respond intelligently instead of throwing an existential tantrum. Let us take a real-world example. Imagine your company announces a big restructuring. Everyone is panicking, hoarding office snacks, and secretly updating their resumes. You have two choices. Option 1, fight the change. Complain every day and make your life miserable until either you quit or your blood pressure reaches geyser level. Option 2, accept that the river is flowing. Figure out how to position yourself to benefit from the new structure and maybe even learn new skills. Same river, different approach. The second one keeps you sane. Psychologists even have a name for the way acceptance reduces suffering: cognitive flexibility. That is the ability to adapt your thinking when circumstances change, instead of clinging to a mental script that no longer matches reality. People with high cognitive flexibility tend to be happier, healthier, and less likely to end up in dramatic Facebook rants about how things used to be. Basically, they are the mental equivalent of yoga instructors who can bend without snapping. But of course, knowing that change is constant is one thing. Living it is another. Our instincts want to slam on the brakes every time life shifts. That is why Heraclitus's wisdom needs some practical hacks. First hack: practice micro changes. Change up your morning routine. Take a different route to work. Try eating breakfast without looking at your phone. Small changes teach your brain that new does not always mean danger. It can mean discovery. Second hack: name the river. When something changes, literally say to yourself, "Ah, here comes the river." This sounds ridiculous, but it shifts your mindset from "oh no" to "ah, this is the nature of life." Third hack: focus on what is within your control. You cannot control the river's flow, but you can control your stroke. You can choose your actions, your perspective, and whether or not you are going to scream into the void. And here is the part Heraclitus might not have said directly, but probably implied. Change is not just something to tolerate. It is something to use. Rivers do not just carry you away from what you know, they also carry you toward new opportunities. Every major breakthrough in your life probably started with a change you did not expect. The love of your life, the career you never saw coming, the hobby that turned into a passion, all of them came from the river bringing something new. Take technology, for example. 20 years ago, if someone said you would carry a pocket-sized rectangle that could order pizza, track your steps, and let you watch videos of raccoons stealing cat food at 3 in the morning, you would have laughed. Now you cannot live without it. Sure, there were awkward phases, remember dial-up internet? But every change in tech has opened doors we could not have imagined. That is the river doing its thing. And yes, change can bring pain. Losing a loved one, ending a relationship, facing a health challenge, these are real and difficult. Acceptance here does not mean pretending it is fine. It means allowing yourself to grieve without getting stuck in the illusion that you can make the river flow backward. Because trying to make life exactly as it was before is like trying to rebuild a sandcastle during high tide. You exhaust yourself, and the water wins anyway. The deeper insight of Heraclitus is that you are not separate from the river. You are part of it. The water that flows past you is the same water you are made of, figuratively and literally, since your body is mostly water. When you stop seeing change as something out there happening to you, and start seeing it as the natural movement of life itself, you can relax a little. You can even enjoy the ride. So here is the takeaway. Change is inevitable, resistance is optional, and suffering is mostly self-inflicted when we choose the resistance route. Adaptation, acceptance, and flow do not make you weak. They make you strong enough to live without constant mental wrestling matches. Heraclitus might have been a guy in a toga talking about rivers, but his advice is as relevant to dealing with your next job change, breakup, or new phone update as it was in ancient Greece. The next time life throws you into a new current, remember this. The river is going to flow whether you like it or not. You can fight, flail, and swallow mouthfuls of metaphorical river water, or you can swim, surf, and see where it takes you. And who knows? You might end up somewhere better than you imagined. So go ahead, step into the river, knowing you will never step in the same one twice. That is not a threat, that is the magic. Because every moment is fresh water, and the more you let it carry you, the more you will discover that the river is not your enemy. It is your life. All right, now it is your turn to wade into the comments. Share a story of a change you resisted that turned out to be amazing, or a change you embraced that completely transformed you. And if you want more fast, funny, and genius-level content delivered at the speed of laughter, hit that subscribe button for XQ. Quick, funny explanations, where we turn ancient wisdom into your new favorite life hacks. Now grab your floaties and let us see where the river takes you next.